tonics are some of the most underrated items in Dauntless. While they might be a pain in the ass to gather materials for, they provide some dummy thick bonuses to both your survivability and your damage output. And today, I'll be going over the top 5 best tonics to craft in Dauntless. Something I wanted to note is that, while this might be a list, some of these tonics can be stronger than others on this list in certain situations. However, for the purposes of clarity, I'll be listing them in order of their general usefulness in practical combat situations. Let's get to it. Starting off this list at number 5, the Assault Tonic increases your stagger damage for 60 seconds. While seemingly impressive, this increase realistically only benefits the Axe and Hammer in substantial ways due to their already impressive levels of natural stagger damage. Weapons like the Repeaters, Chain Blades, and Warpike don't really gain much benefit from Assault Tonics, making this potion's use a little more niche. Going back to what I said before though, the Axe and Hammer really make the most of this tonic, allowing for you to chain together staggers in rapid succession. This pairs extremely well with the Overpower cell, allowing for you to achieve high periods of Overpower uptime with relative ease. Crafting Assault Tonics costs 1 Wrathwort and 1 Slayer's Boon per tonic, making it one of the cheapest potions to craft on this list. At number 4, Stamina Tonics increase your stamina regen by 50% and cut your stamina costs in half for 2 minutes, making this a powerful tonic for both newer players and for players using stamina intensive weapons like the Warpike or the Axe. I think my only problems with this tonic is that, with enough experience, the quality of life it brings can be somewhat outweighed by the raw power provided by some of the other consumables on this list. It's also not as strong in weapons such as the Sword, Chain Blades, Hammer, or Repeaters, due to the fact that they don't really consume as much stamina and, by proxy, don't make much use of this tonic's effect. Crafting Stamina Tonics costs 2 Skybloom and 1 Dash Leaf per tonic, both of which are pretty easy to accumulate in large quantities. Moving on to my top 3, the Aether Drive tonic increases your lantern generation by 100% from all sources for 60 seconds. While seemingly innocuous at first, the real power in this tonic lies in its synergy with the Conduit cell. Conduit increases your attack speed every time you use your lantern's hold ability, and when used in combination with the Etheric Attunement cell, Aether Drive tonics will essentially allow for you to sustain a constant flow of attack speed without much effort. And since you'll be constantly filling and spending your lantern, you'll also be gaining some additional damage from more frequently casting Drask Lightning and Embermane Orbs. This is one of the tonics I often bring with me into Dauntless Trials, and for good reason. It's incredibly hard to replace, and all weapons benefit heavily from having it in their potion arsenal. Aether Drive tonics cost 1 Dash Leaf and 2 Phoenix Opal, making them a little more expensive than your average potion due to the lower amounts of Phoenix Opals typically gathered from hunts. Number 2 on my list goes to the Frenzy Tonic, which increases your damage dealt by 15% for 60 seconds. If the behemoth you're fighting is enraged, the damage bonus rises up to a pretty hefty 30%. Direct damage increases are some of the most valuable assets in Dauntless, as they scale all of your weapons' damage types. Combined with the fact that this can be used in conjunction with cells such as Predator and Berserker, you can easily achieve 100% increased damage against an enraged behemoth, and even more if you decide to rock Rage Hunter as well. These are pretty much mandatory for me to take, and for good reason. Dummy thick damage lets me get dummy thick clear times. Frenzy Tonics cost 2 Skyblooms and 2 Wrathwort, making them one of the most expensive tonics on this list, right next to number 1. Blitz tonics are, in my opinion, the best consumables to take in regards to increasing your damage output. You gain 10% increased attack speed on use, which scales up based on missing health to a maximum of 30% for 60 seconds. Attack speed is a godsend for some weapons, allowing for you to fit in even more attacks into your combos, or even allowing for you to squeeze in an Aether Slam that you might have otherwise not been able to land. The power of increased attack speed is insane, providing a global benefit to any weapon you decide to pop this potion with. This is pretty much the crowning jewel of my holy trinity of consumables, and I keep a healthy stock of Blitz tonics for both trials and general farming. They're insanely strong. Before I wrap up this video, I wanted to give a few parting pieces of advice. Firstly, be smart about your tonic consumption. Don't pop your potions too early, otherwise you're going to be wasting precious seconds of your tonic's already short duration, and that's going to feel real fucking bad when you have to go out and grind more materials again to craft more. Secondly, stack your tonics. Blitz, Aether Drive, and Frenzy tonics provide the gnarliest combination of bonuses when all 3 are used at the same time, and can effectively turn you into a DPS powerhouse just on their own. Other than that, I really don't have too much else to say. Tonics are some of the best increases to your power, and they're really easy to craft and stockpile over your course of progressing through Dauntless. I highly recommend crafting these 5, as their universal applications are pretty much unmatched. And with that, I'm going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed listening to me talk, feel free to like and subscribe for more of my content, and follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with my shenanigans. I'd also recommend checking out my boys over at Team Thick. I've left links to their channel down in the description below. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Take care, and have a good one.